Funny, funny, funny. You still believe that that the US will help Taiwan. The US is EU is only interested in selling arms. Japan needs to revise their policy. EU should be on alert. Abhijit Singh says there is no defense treaty between the US and Taiwan. US State Department has officially stated blah blah blah. It will give weapons to Taiwan defending itself. Understand something, my friends. The US cannot afford to lose Taiwan to the Chinese. The US simply can't afford to have that. If the Chinese gain Taiwan, it gives them access to the entire Indo Pacific. It will be the end of American hegemony in the Indo Pacific. That's what it means. It is a frontier that the Americans cannot afford to lose. They cannot afford to allow the Chinese to breach that frontier. The island chains. There are two island chains. If you look at the map, let's go and look at the map. One second. Not this. Sorry, not this. I have to bring in the map. Just a second. Here's the map. Let me remove the question so you can see it properly. This is the map. So there are two island chains. So as you can see, the Chinese are encircled at sea. Over here you have the Japanese islands. If you go down south, you have Okinawa and so on. Here you have Taiwan, and here you have the Philippines, Indonesia, and so on. So it is encircled by all these islands. And these islands, the forces that are stationed there are essentially not very friendly to the Chinese. The Japanese are essentially they are under the US. There's no nice way of putting it. Japan is essentially under US occupation right now, right? It has been that way since the end of the Second World War. Taiwan is a de facto American client state. The Philippines have traditionally been very much pro US, and so on. So all of this entire island chain, it encircles China and keeps Chinese actions limited to a certain geographical territory of the ocean. So if the Chinese were to gain Taiwan, they would break free of these shackles, and they would be free to rule, if they can, the Indo-Pacific region. If Taiwan falls, they would also be free to make their way into the Indian Ocean and to outnumber the Indian army and possibly try to outmatch the Indian Navy in the Indian Ocean. So Taiwan is key to that. The Americans cannot afford to lose Taiwan, right? So no matter what you say, that the Americans don't have a treaty or whatever, they will simply not allow the Chinese to take Taiwan. It is going to be a disaster for the US. It will be the end of America's superpower status if the Chinese succeed in conquering Taiwan. And that's why you will see that the Americans have significant amount of presence, of forces, of strength, of weapons, and all that on Taiwanese soil. So it is still not time. It is the Chinese are still not in a position to make a move on Taiwan, and that's why I was saying that they could try to make a move on India if they feel that they can get away with that.